Okay, let's raise then the big question, the inconvenient questions that really go to the heart of this issue that every Goenka in India must raise. Murder by negligence and corruption is what we are calling it. Question number one, how was the club operating without necessary permissions in spite of numerous complaints? Why did Panchayat Ministry stay the demolition order issued by the Panchayat citing that the construction is illegal? Why did the fire department not act against the establishment in spite of not having clearances? The club is situated in a salt pan area. How was that allowed? The original landowner filed many complaints against the club. Why was no action taken? Owners of the club are issuing Instagram status expressing grief, yet Goa police says they can't find them. Why and how? How did the Pollution Control Board give permission to this club? Why no action taken against the Home Department personnel, either the fire or police? Remember, no fire safety audit was done. How many clubs in Goa are operating exactly like this one without permission, and how? Which politicians are protecting such establishments, allowing them to go illegally? Joining me now, Advocate Amit Palekar, President of Goa. He's been appearing for some of the Panchayat leaders who were seemingly made scapegoats. Advocate R. Carlos Alvarez, MLA Congress. Jack Ajit Sukija, President, Travel and Tourism Association of Goa. We also hope to be joined by Savio Rodriguez, Editor-in-Chief, Goa Chronicle, and he's been with the BJP. Appreciate you all joining us. Amit Palekar, I want to ask you straight away, direct question. You are targeting the Chief Minister, calling for his resignation. Why should the Chief Minister resign for a fire of this kind that's taken place in Goa? It seems the entire system has been corrupted. So why are you singling out the Chief Minister only?
Well, Rajdeep, please understand the fact that the departments which controls excise, department which controls pollution control, but department which controls home, under whose gambit the entire this clubs come, they are all under the under Chief Minister. Please also understand the fact that few months back, almost a year back, and then few months back, I had very categorically stated that the coastal belt is being extorted. There is an extortion cartel which is being run by the government, and then they are extorting money for the fact of allowing these clubs to function without proper permission and beyond permissible time limits. Now, I have a copy of the complaint which was filed in December 2023 by the owners of the land against one Mr. Khosla, wherein there has been categorically the copy has been marked to the Chief Minister, has been marked to Delilah Lobo, who is the MLA, and where he has specifically stated that the construction is illegal. It's in the middle of a salt pen, right in the heart of a salt pen, next to a creek. GCZMA, which conducted inspection of this particular site, has said that it is illegal, but they said that it does not come within the ambit of theirs, as it does not come under CRZ. Now, thereafter, there is a notice which is issued, a demolition order which is issued in April 24. And in March 25, the Panchayat asked the club to stop the functioning. And the notice has been marked to the police department, to home department and other departments. Now, if you really ask me how this club was allowed to function by the excise department, how pollution control board allowed it to be functioning, how the police department allowed it to function, how the MLA overlooked all this, who are now crying crocodile tears. Now, if you really ask me, all these departments are under the control of Chief Minister. Now, if Chief Minister feels that the government officials have to be suspended, why no action has been taken against the Department of Excise Chief? Why no action has been taken against the police officers who have allowed this club to function? Okay. And why is Chief Minister only targeting three officials, the Sarpanch, but when he is also the head of these departments? Now, that is why we say that the Chief Minister must have some hand in letting this allowed to be function, or the departments or having an administrative failure to have looked upon in a functioning of. Yes,
right. Rajib, you're making a very important point. You're claiming that complaints were filed marked to Chief Minister Pramod Sawant. That, remember, the Home Ministry also in Goa is under the Chief Minister. The fire department reports to the Home Ministry. No fire safety audit was done in this particular instance. There are also questions of how it could have been built on a salt pan. Advocate Carlos Alvarez, let's be very clear. This isn't the first instance. There have been reports of a hafta culture going on in Goa now for years, about how many of these casinos are, many of these restaurants are operating, gaming companies are operating, all of which, some of which at least, are certainly illegally operating. Did it require a fire like this to wake up? In fact, a BJP MLA Mr. Amondkar had specifically referred to this in the last assembly session, that this was on illegal land. Is the entire system involved? Is it about individuals, or the system has completely collapsed from panchayat level right down to the right up to the chief minister?
Rajdeep, in fact, you have hit the nail on the head, and you have echoed what everyone speaks about things happening in Goa. The corruption is so deeply embedded that everybody knows that anything is available here for a price. You can pass off any illegality by claiming it to be legal as long as you have the right political connections with the right color of what you give. Now, this is very important for you to know. I'll just pause for a moment and tell you that while we speak over here, in Panjim, there is a fire raging in one of the setups for the Serendipity Art Festival right now, which is catching fire. And exactly 1 year back, I'm told the same venue, a similar structure also caught fire. Now, you have already had the Upar tragedy in Delhi. I don't know whether any lessons have been learned from there. Now we have had something in Maharashtra and Bombay, and now we had that in Goa, and now again repeating. I don't know if any loss of life or injury to people in Panjim next to the Kala Academy, but this is an indication of how deep-rooted the system is.
No, so you are no, sir. Point. Is it about individuals or is the entire system, including? We are told even opposition leaders are given a share of the hafta. This hafta culture now cuts across. Delilah Lobo and Michael Lobo, who are the MLAs who are in these areas, they were once with the Congress, now they are in the BJP. So the entire system has got corrupted in Goa.
They were hardly there for 6 months. They were hardly there for 6 months with the Congress. They got elected, and within less than 6 months, they departed and they went into the BJP. And they said that they needed to do development, and so therefore they went. And we know now what development is going on. But that's in between the lines, you can understand what I'm trying to say. Now, I'll tell you, there's one thing which is happening. If people like us, who are locals over here, we apply for permissions, we go through the entire routine. It takes months, years sometimes to get permissions, licenses and all that. But somebody not from Goa comes here, not only does it get expedited, fast-tracked, but whenever it suits, even the laws are changed. Can you believe this? I've even opposed it on the floor of the House by saying, you are bringing this amendment particularly to benefit A, B or C. And it is still being bulldozed because they have the numbers. And this is the way the system is working. And let me be honest with you, I don't want to say that every officer is corrupt. I have also been an advocate general, so I know I've been a government advocate before. And since my years of experience serving for the government, defending the government, let me say that every officer is not necessarily corrupt. But one place where they fail is when they are pressurized, because there are threats to the officers. You'll be put in cold storage, or we will file an FIR against you, we'll pick up something and suspend you, or we'll transfer your family, or you'll be shunted in some corner. This is the threats which are being meted out, and they buckle down. Of course, corrupt people are there, and they are also making hay while the sun shines. But it cannot happen, as Rajiv, just one moment, it cannot happen. See, the scale of this entire club, it cannot be allowed to be operating without the knowledge of the authorities and the government. How can you say we are not aware that this structure is being run in the middle of a salt pan over here?
I take your point. Mr. Alvarez, I take your point. In fact, I'm putting the roll call of those who have been guilty of negligence. Fire Department under Chief Minister Pramod Sawant, Goa Coastal Zone Management Authority under Union Ministry of Environment and Forests, Deputy Collector Panchayat under Movin Godino, Directorate of Panchayats under Mr. Godino, all BJP leaders, Goa Pollution Control Board under Chief Minister Pramod Sawant. I want to bring in at this stage Jack Ajit Sukija, because you're with the Travel and Tourism Association. Just before Christmas, you couldn't get worse news. You have earlier had taxi mafias. There's the casino culture which has grown. Now you have these nightclubs functioning on salt pan areas. What does this do for tourism? As it is, we are seeing high-end tourism moving away from Goa, going to Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Thailand. I mean, is there a consciousness among the tourism operators also that this must stop? Can you all go to the authorities and say, this is too much, it's affecting Goa's brand image?
So first of all, I would like to condone the fact that so many people have died. I think it's a very sad and tragic thing what has happened, fellow colleagues in the industry. And this fire is something which is, I mean, it's really shocking what has occurred. Coming to your question about what it does to Goa's tourism image, yes, I think post-COVID, there has been a spurt in a lot of unregulated businesses and businesses which are coming fly-by-night, operators who have just come up. And it is really important that the government takes action against these operators so that and brings them in line. Fire and health cannot be compromised at any cost, and it is important that these guys are brought in line. There has been regular industry which has been operating for many years.
No, but have you all raised these issues? Have you all raised these issues with the government, sir? Have you all raised the issues with the government that there are these illegal clubs? What is the response you get?
The government has taken note of it and has promised action, but it has not been able. I mean, they still operate. So, I mean, it has not been very effective, to be fair.
Okay, you're saying it's not been effective. Advocate Amit Palekar, it seems to me, as I keep saying, there seems to be collusion at all levels. We've known of panchayats who have been accused of corruption. We've known of MLAs, and it's going right up the order. Is there any solution at all? Will this fire wake up the people of Goa at all in your view? Because the truth of the matter is, the BJP itself, the same people are getting re-elected election after election, even those who've been accused of serious corruption. So it almost seems that the people of Goa don't care enough.
See, Rajdeep, one thing I can tell you is that, when the people are corrupt, you get corrupt government. And I have said it very categorically yesterday that Goans are shameless, and that is what BJP thinks of us. Now, when I say this, I really want Goans to understand this fact that I am not using it derogatorily to you, but I'm using it, to offend you, to make you feel guilty of the fact that the blood of these 25 people who lost their lives is also on your hands, because you have let this happen. You have let BJP believe that they can trample Goa and Goans, and they can get away with whatever they want by just taking care of things personally or in a manner that they can manage the voters. That's what they've been thinking. But honestly, it's only 32% of the voters of Goa who are getting them elected, whereas the 67% seems to not like BJP. But the fact remains is that all the opposition also need to understand this fact and somehow come to a single point of agenda of defeating this corrupt BJP. I think now it's for Goans to take charge. We have tried our best to get them together. That does not happen. But the Goans need to wake up. And if this does not wake up, Goans, I would only say may God bless us all, because I don't understand where we are heading. Nothing moves without money. As a lawyer, I've seen, if you want to start industry, you don't get permissions. If a Goan wants to run a restaurant, see, I am connected to this industry. My family is into this business. We have almost given up on almost all of those places because of the fact that we can't compete with the money that is gets pumped in and that gets paid to these corrupt politicians.
Where is the money coming from? No, Amit, where is the money? Where is the money coming from? The owner in this case is a Delhi owner. He has a string of nightclubs across the country, especially in tier 2 towns. Are you saying all this entire business is working on cash alone? The money is coming from outside Goa?
Absolutely. You see a lane like Tito's lane, we were proud of that lane once upon a time. I cannot enter that lane today. I just went there a few days back and I was like shocked. Except for the few clubs which are owned by the Goans, the rest have turned into a different place altogether. You go to Anjuna, you go to Vagat, or in other places, there is not a single Goan owner who could afford to run a club today, because they cannot pay this kind of extortion money that they're asking for. I have very categorically stated, Rajdeep, few months back, that the club owners are being made to pay 2 to 10 lakhs per month,
right,
as bribe money. This is single. Then there is other money that goes in. And I've been very clear. I've given out some names, but government doesn't blink eye on that point when I say that.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say, but
I take your point. You see, there is this hafta culture. There is, I take your point. I would refrain from saying Goans are shameless. I don't think that's the answer. But Savio joins me at the moment. Savio Rodriguez, you've been with the BJP. Here you see Congress are all coming together attacking BJP. Just a minute. Savio, you've also tweeted You've also tweeted saying that enough of corruption, we need to wage a war against it. It's white-collar terrorism. Now, please tell me, there's been a BJP government for more than a decade, 15 years in 2027 will be complete. Where does the blame lie? Who should be held accountable?
If you were to ask me who has to be held accountable, it's the entire administration of the Goa government at this point of time, Rajdeep. And yes, I do support the BJP. And when it is wrong, it is wrong. It's as simple as that. That's the ethics of our journalism and the political stand we take on issues. Now, let me tell you why I'm saying that. This property, this particular nightclub was running for over 2 years. 2 years being illegal. 2 years in a salt pan. 2 years serving liquor. 2 years with no proper fire protocols in place. Are you telling me nobody in our system and administration was able to fight it, to know it, or to check it? If they did, 25 people would not have died, Rajdeep. This is white-collar terrorism. Today we have gone to war. We went to war with Pakistan when 26 innocent people died in Pahalgam. 25 people have died here. Shouldn't we not go to war against corruption? Who are the officers behind? Where were the excise officers?
No, but
How
I've been
are they
hearing.
serving liquor?
Savio, none of these officers would be doing what they are and granting permissions or turning a blind eye unless they had ministerial protection. You know that, I know that, every Goenka knows that, and yet nothing seems to change. It's not as if
That is the reason.
This has been the most horrific example of what's been going on the ground for a long time.
But that is exactly, Rajdeep, why I wrote a letter to the Prime Minister himself, saying that he should personally take interest in looking at the corruption levels in Goa. This is a stark example where corruption has led to death of 25 people. Can you please tell me, what did the Luthras have other than money that nobody opened their eyes to the illegality that has led to the death of 25 people? So if the chief minister in Goa, if the administrative in Goa do not have the courage, then somebody at the center has to take a stand, because we cannot allow Goa to be destroyed in this manner, Rajdeep.
So therefore I ask you, Carlos Alvarez, you're hearing now someone who supports the BJP also saying enough is enough. Will a stage ever come where the political class of Goa comes together, at least on this one issue? You all talk about saving Goa. Goa is being destroyed. My Goa. I'm a Goenkar. My father grew up in Madgaon. And I'm seeing how the entire ecology is being destroyed, how the culture is being corrupted. Can all Goans come together or not? This is the tourism paradise of this country, which is being destroyed and becoming some kind of a Wild West, particularly North Goa. Do you believe that Goenka, that politicians can actually come together? Or Hamam mein sab nange hai? Everybody in some way or the other has a stake in allowing this system to continue. A quick answer.
It's a fight which we have and which we have to undertake. We should not buckle down. And I want to tell you one thing, that whenever I have raised in the assembly with evidence, I simply don't speak without having evidence. I've spoken of evidence of corruption in the PWD, corruption in the excise department, corruption in the police. What has the chief minister done? Just ignored and not even responded. And nothing. They are so thick-skinned because I am guaranteeing you that it is part of the system, that they are aware, they're getting something, and that's why they're keeping quiet or turning a Nelson's eye. I've known your father also as a very good cricketer too, and I've known him before when he was here. And I used to meet him very often when in Goa. And I know how much he loved Goa as much as you do. And we all feel for Goa. And I think it's a time that people across party lines must get together, because we are selling not just our forests, our hills, the rivers, the coasts. Everything in Goa is getting destroyed. And it looks like BJP is in a race that before the next election, we must finish our agenda, finish Goa and go home with pots of money.
Okay. You know, though that's a very depressing thing to hear, that Goa is up for sale. Those are very strong words that are being used, but those are words that perhaps reflect the reality, and it required, unfortunately, this tragic incident perhaps for this to become a national embarrassment. As I said, this is not a normal fire. This is death by negligence and corruption. And that is really why it should be called murder in a way. I really hope Goans wake up. I hope the country wakes up to the fact that you cannot allow a state to be up for sale in this manner. I appreciate my guests joining me here on my talking point tonight. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.